Have you ever stood before something so impossible that your mind struggled to accept it was real? That's exactly what happens when you first lay eyes on the chicken leg rock in Algeria's Sahara Desert. This massive boulder, weighing several tons, balances impossibly on a stem so narrow it looks like it could snap at any moment. But here's what will really blow your mind. It's been standing like that for thousands of years, and scientists say it might continue standing for thousands more. Before we dive deeper into this mystery, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from and how the weather is treating you today. Are you bundled up in the cold or enjoying some sunshine? Let me know how you're doing. Now, most people think they know everything there is to know about natural wonders. We've seen the Grand Canyon, we've marveled at Mount Everest, we've watched documentaries about Iceland's glaciers. But what if I told you that hidden in the heart of the Sahara Desert, there's a collection of rock formations so bizarre, so perfectly sculpted by nature, that they look like they were designed by an ancient civilization with knowledge far beyond our understanding? Today, I'm taking you on a journey to Algeria, to a place where rocks tell stories older than written language, where the desert has carved masterpieces that challenge everything we understand about geology and time. We're going to explore 3 extraordinary rock formations that most people have never heard of, and I'm going to show you why they matter more than you might think. These aren't just rocks. They're witnesses to a world that existed before the Sahara became a desert, before humans learned to write, before civilization as we know it began. Let's start with the one that stops everyone in their tracks. The chicken leg rock, also called the mushroom rock or pedestal rock. Located near Tamanrasset in the Saharan desert, this formation looks exactly like its name suggests. A massive, wide cap of hard rock perched on top of a dramatically narrow stem. When you stand next to it, you can't help but wonder, how is this thing still standing? The answer lies in something called differential erosion, but the reality is far more fascinating than the scientific term suggests. You see, the Sahara wasn't always a desert. Thousands of years ago, this region was a lush, green savanna with rivers flowing through it and life thriving everywhere. The name of the plateau where these formations exist, Tassili, literally means plateau of rivers in the Berber language. Can you imagine that? Rivers, in what is now one of the driest places on Earth. As the climate changed and the region became increasingly arid, wind became the primary sculptor of the landscape. But wind doesn't erode rock evenly. It's most powerful at about 2 to 3 feet from the ground, where it carries the maximum amount of sand and debris. This creates a sandblasting effect that carves away at the softer rock layers at the base much faster than it affects the harder cap rock at the top. Over thousands of years, this process creates these impossible-looking mushroom shapes that seem to defy gravity itself. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The chicken leg rock isn't just a geological curiosity, it's a time capsule. The very existence of this formation tells us about climate change that happened millennia before humans started burning fossil fuels. It's proof that our planet has undergone dramatic transformations throughout its history, and these rocks have witnessed it all. Now, if you're finding this fascinating, do me a favor. Hit that like button and drop a comment below telling me what topic baffles you the most. What mysteries would you like me to research and make a video about? Your suggestions help shape this channel, and I read every single comment. Let's move to our second formation, and this one is going to make you do a double take. In the Tassili region, there's a rock formation that locals call Elephant Rock, and when you see it, you'll understand why immediately. This massive sandstone structure has been carved by wind and sand into a shape that looks exactly like an elephant, complete with what appears to be a trunk, body, and legs. But here's what makes Elephant Rock truly extraordinary. It sits in a region that contains over 15,000 prehistoric paintings and engravings. Yes, you heard that right. 15,000. This area was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1982 because it holds one of the most important collections of prehistoric cave art in the entire world. The paintings date back as far as 12,000 years, and they show something remarkable. They depict the animals that actually lived in this region when it was still green and fertile. The oldest paintings show elephants, giraffes, rhinoceroses, and hippos. These were the animals our ancestors saw with their own eyes when they stood in the same spots we can visit today. Later paintings show cattle, sheep, and goats, evidence of when humans transitioned from hunting and gathering to pastoral life. Even later, you see horses and chariots, and finally, camels appear in the most recent paintings, marking the complete transformation of the Sahara into the desert we know today. So when you look at Elephant Rock, you're not just seeing a geological formation, you're seeing nature's tribute to the creatures that once roamed this land. It's as if the desert itself is preserving the memory of what was lost. The third formation I want to share with you is called the Hedgehog Rock, and it's another sandstone marvel in Tassili, Algeria. This one gets its name from its spiky, irregular appearance that resembles a hedgehog's quills. What makes this formation particularly special is how it demonstrates the incredible variety of shapes that erosion can create from the same basic material. The sandstone in Tassili, Algeria is stained by a thin outer layer of metallic oxides, which gives these rocks their distinctive colors ranging from near black to dull red. When erosion works on these layered stones, with their varying degrees of hardness and different mineral compositions, it creates formations that can look organic, almost alive. The Hedgehog Rock, with its jagged protrusions and irregular surfaces, looks like it could have been carved by human hands, but it's entirely the work of wind, sand, and time. What I love about this formation is that it reminds us that nature doesn't just create smooth, predictable shapes. Sometimes it creates chaos, irregularity, beauty in the unexpected. And that's a powerful metaphor for life itself, isn't it? Now, before we move to something truly mind-blowing, I want to pause and say thank you. If you're still watching, that means you're someone who values real knowledge, authentic stories, and the kind of content that respects your intelligence. My channel is still young and trying to grow, and your subscription means the world to me. It's not just a number, it's a vote of confidence that says this content matters. So please, take a second to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Your support helps keep these stories alive. Here's where our journey takes a profound turn. Among all these natural rock formations in Tassili, Algeria, there's one piece of prehistoric art that has captured the imagination of scholars worldwide. It's called the Running Horned Woman, also known as the Horned Goddess, and it's one of the most powerful images from the ancient world. This painting depicts a female figure in mid-stride, her body adorned with dots, wearing fringed armbands, a skirt, leg bands, and anklets. Most strikingly, she has prominent horns rising from her head. The image dates back to what archaeologists call the Round Head period, between 7550 and 5050 BCE. That means this painting is between 9,000 and 7,000 years old. Think about that for a moment. Someone stood in that cave 9,000 years ago and created this image. They mixed pigments, they climbed to reach the rock surface, and they carefully painted this figure with intention and skill. What were they trying to say? Who was this horned woman to them? Scholars believe this figure represents the African sacred feminine, a powerful goddess connected to fertility, nature, and the spiritual world. The horns likely represent cattle, which were being domesticated during this period and were becoming central to the lives of the people who lived here. This wasn't just art for decoration. This was sacred imagery, created in what researchers believe were ritual sites where ancient communities gathered for ceremonies and spiritual practices. Some of the human figures painted in Tassili, Algeria stand over 5 meters tall. 5 meters! These weren't casual doodles. These were monumental works of art created by people who wanted their message to last forever. And here we are, thousands of years later, still able to see them, still able to wonder about the hands that created them and the minds that conceived them. What story from this video has touched you the most? Was it the impossible balance of the chicken leg rock? the prehistoric paintings that show us a green Sahara, or the powerful image of the running horned woman? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know what part of this journey resonated with your spirit. Here's something else that will make you see these formations differently. The Tassili cypress trees that grow in the higher elevations of this region are among the longest living organisms on Earth, rivaling even the ancient bristlecone pines of the American West. Some of these trees have been standing for thousands of years, silently witnessing the transformation of the Sahara from savanna to desert. They've seen empires rise and fall. They've watched as human civilization evolved from hunter-gatherers to the modern world, and they're still there, holding on, refusing to let go. The vegetation in Tassili Energia is more lush than in the surrounding desert because the sandstone retains water better, creating microenvironments where life can persist. This means that even today, in one of the harshest environments on Earth, there are pockets of green, reminders of what once was, and perhaps hints of what could be again if the climate shifts once more. What does all of this mean for us today? Why should we care about rocks in the Sahara Desert and paintings made by people who lived 9,000 years ago? Because these formations and these artworks are proof that nothing is permanent. The Sahara was once green and fertile, teeming with life. It became a desert. Climate has changed before, and it will change again. Our ancestors adapted, survived, and left messages for us in stone and paint. They wanted us to remember them, to know they were here, to understand that they faced challenges and overcame them. When you look at the chicken leg rock, standing impossibly on its narrow base, you're seeing resilience. When you study the prehistoric paintings showing elephants and giraffes where now only sand exists, you're seeing transformation. When you contemplate the running horned woman, frozen in mid-stride for 9,000 years, you're seeing the human need to create meaning, to honor the sacred, to leave something behind that matters. These aren't just geological curiosities or ancient artworks. They're mirrors reflecting our own journey as a species. They remind us that we're part of a much longer story than we usually remember, and that the Earth has been changing and evolving long before we arrived, and will continue long after we're gone. The erosion that created these formations is still happening today. The chicken leg rock stem gets slightly thinner every year. Eventually, perhaps in another few thousand years, it will finally topple. When it does, it will become just another rock on the desert floor, and future generations might never know it once stood in that impossible balance. But for now, it stands, a testament to the power of time and the artistry of nature. So the next time you hear someone talk about natural wonders, remember these hidden treasures of the Sahara. Remember that the Earth is full of mysteries we haven't discovered yet, stories we haven't heard, and formations that defy our expectations. Remember that our ancestors were here. They saw things we can barely imagine, and they left messages for us to find. These rock formations aren't just about geology. They're about memory, survival, transformation, and the enduring power of nature to create beauty even in the harshest conditions. They're about understanding that we're part of a continuum, connected to people who lived thousands of years ago and to people who will live thousands of years in the future. If this story has moved you, if it's made you think about time and change and the resilience of both nature and humanity, then do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to be reminded that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves. Our stories deserve to be remembered, and your subscription keeps this wisdom alive. Thank you for taking this journey with me into the heart of the Sahara, into the mysteries of Tassili Energia, and into the deep past where our ancestors walked among elephants and painted goddesses on cave walls. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep remembering that the Earth has stories to tell if we're willing to listen.